I got something to. We talked about Brandon Aiyuk probably one or two segments in the past month or so, and I saw a specific tweet that might make or break this person, which has not been confirmed or denied. I want to show it to you. I want to see what you think about the possibility of this happening, and then see maybe what could be a reality of it. Because we did land in spots, but really this tweet was interesting because this guy got like over 3 million impressions, like easily over 3 million impressions for this thing. So let me show it. I'm gonna pop up right here, and you can read it if you want to.
All right, breaking news. The Steelers and 49ers have agreed to a trade that sends star receiver Brandon Aiyuk to Pittsburgh. Okay. I can't necessarily say I it's true.
No, this hadn't been confirmed.
I know for a fact that they have certain principle, like the framework for some certain principal trades with other teams. And whatnot, because how it's going to go is that Brandon Aiyuk will not. I don't see him being a member of the San Francisco 49ers. But yet, it's just one team. It's a team that, again, that will be desperate enough to give up the compensation that San Francisco is seeking. And it's a team that again, whether it's the New England Patriots, the Pittsburgh Steelers, now that will be a good fit because you got a new quarterback or quarterbacks, and you need a receiver that will be able to do the necessary things to take the top off the defense and really can be their number one. Same thing with New England. They have a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach, and they're trying to again establish a new identity post Bill Belichick. If there are teams that need a receiver, but the reality of it is, are they willing to give up the draft capital and compensation that San Francisco is asking for and whatnot? So that's the question.
I mean, New England could be a team. Pittsburgh could definitely be a team, but I feel
Pittsburgh,
like
go ahead. I'm sorry, Connor.
I was just gonna say I feel like George Pickens is better than Kendrick Bourne, if we're being honest. Now I don't know their stats. I'm saying that based on how I've watched them play. Obviously, I'm a big stats guy, so when I actually look it up at the numbers, I can tell you who's better. But my gut is telling me George Pickens is a number one option. So and that is telling me that the Patriots would be more desperate than the Steelers to try and trade for Brandon Aiyuk, because you just said you got to have a team desperate enough to be able to afford what the 49ers are asking for. And we know Patriots draft capital.
Patriots have a lot of draft capital, but is Jared going to make that move? But we also know that I'm quite sure Brandon Aiyuk wants to go to a team where again compete, a team that's going to be able to compete. Pittsburgh, you go to a Pittsburgh team with a Russell Wilson under center and a team that has a solid defense. This team can compete. Najee Harris and as a running back position, and you have George Pickens and some other receivers, some other quality players on defense. Let's talk about T.J. Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, Patrick Queen. That defense is revamped. Again, this team will literally, if Pittsburgh pulls the trigger, this will literally put them, I would want to say in the top 5, maybe the top 10, maybe top 5 NFL power rankings.
And apparently they finished third in their division the past 3 years, which is crazy because they made the playoffs.
And what is it? But that's a testament to the AFC North.
And I mean, if there is a place to be, I'm going to say it's Pittsburgh, right? Because if your defense can single-handedly take you to the playoffs, do you know the standard and the bar that you would have to reach on offense? It's low. It's so low because of what they've had before. They've had small hands Kenny Pickett behind center trying to make something of their offense, and it just hadn't worked. Well, if you go over there and their bar is that low, how much higher could you make it?
Did you really have to say small hands Kenny Pickett? Did you
always have to say small hands Kenny Pickett? He had some small hands. Me and my guy got like the same size hands.
But
That's why I always wore a glove to throw because he couldn't grip the ball. His hands were so small. But I'm saying, like, your standard to compete on offense is so low that the more you raise that standard in the next year, the more credibility you can get as an offensive player. Think about it. Brandon Aiyuk goes to Pittsburgh. Brandon Aiyuk's going to do Brandon Aiyuk things. The 49ers honestly should keep him if they want to keep competing. But apparently they think Debo's the right move.
But they also drafted that receiver from Florida.
Yeah, and I could not stand that. I mean, it's not that his route running's great, but he's not a first. And I could eat my words, but he's just not a first round draft talent to me. And maybe they were getting him because somebody else wanted them in the second round. Maybe so. And yes, Rob is right. They have Arthur Smith calling plays on offense, Nate. They have Arthur Smith, the worst, the absolute. You want to talk about the NFL top 100? Arthur Smith was at the bottom of it of play calling. There were coordinators that were above Arthur Smith in play calling. There were assistants that were above Arthur Smith in play calling last season. And you bring him to Pittsburgh to call your offensive plays, how much worse do you want your offense to be? You have the cheapest backfield in the entire NFL. You are trying to throw something at the wall that sticks. Well, you know Arthur Smith ain't going to stick. You are basically greasing your wall right now, trying to throw things on it to see what's going to stick, and nothing's going to stick because you brought in Arthur Smith, the worst play caller of the 2023 NFL season, and you're not going to get anything to stick on the wall. I might as well take freaking oil and just slather it on the wall. Just slather it down, up and down. Get me a paint roll and a nap, and let me just slather it down. Like I'm, So Nate, how much could Brandon Aiyuk, how much higher could Brandon Aiyuk raise the standard and raise that bar if they have now, we just said Arthur Smith, they have a backfield that consists of $6.5 million between Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. What's going on, Nate? Tell me your thoughts.
I think that they can put I think that they can really. They can again. I agree. If they can get Tomlin extremely focused, they make the trade for Brandon Aiyuk. What that does is that brings some type of that brings that excitement back to the locker room and whatnot. Because again, you have a team that can run the ball, that can literally pass the ball, has a good defense. You can get back to the things that help Pittsburgh win Super Bowls and go to Super Bowl. A dominant defense and a good running game.
And I think Pittsburgh is so smart. We are in the year of 2024, and we're playing Moneyball, Nate. We are playing Moneyball. There's going to be a documentary. If the Steelers go and win it all, which I'm thinking they're a playoff contender. I don't know about Super Bowl. If they go and win it all, we're going to have another Moneyball movie with Brad Pitt, except Brad Pitt going to play Mike Tomlin. And I love that movie so much because it just shows you what numbers can do in a game that is obviously a business, right? But is not predominantly a numbers game. And Brad Pitt took it. Obviously, Brad Pitt wasn't the actual guy, but he was in the movie. Took those numbers, said, hey, we can get X amount of players if we get these three big ones out of here. We can fill our whole team up with players that have potential. We just have to unlock it. And that's what Mike Tomlin's doing. He's bringing in older players that are cheap. He's bringing in younger players that are cheap and trying to get these older players to unlock these younger players' potential so that he can play a little bit of money ball and somehow go all the way. But is Brandon Aiyuk the person that can help him take him there?
Yes, I think you can. I'm not going to sit there and say they're going to win the Super Bowl with Brandon Aiyuk if they do it. But Brandon Aiyuk can really open up and stretch it out. We can see Russell Wilson go back to being the Russell Wilson that we've seen in Seattle.